Hi, and welcome to the Fighting Dirty Podcast, a monthly show brought to you through the magic of the internet. On this week's episode, we will review 7 Wonders Duel and Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition. We will also delve deep into some new tabletop games hitting the market in our segment we like to call Roll the Dice or Save Some Cash. As always, I'm joined by Gary Baxter. Welcome to this monumental, epic, colossal, monstrous episode of the Fighting Dirty Podcast, episode number 10.
Fighting Dirty X. We're here. We finally hit it.
Break it down!
Yes. Yeah, we're doing it.
All right, bro. Well, hey, it's a new year, and it's been a while since we got together. Last holiday, we got together for Thanksgiving, so this is our New Year's episode. We're rolling into a new year, and you know what that means? It's time to make some goals for ourselves, and I'm not talking about those personal goals, like losing weight, saving more money,
I mean, we could lose some weight.
Well, bro, I need to lose like 40 pounds before Gen Con.
Yeah, I'm not going into Gen Con heavy like last year, man. Oh, that was brutal. My feet were killing me.
Well, there's
last
Origins, though, so the deadline's kind of pushed up.
Yeah.
You don't want to feel like crap at Origins either.
Yeah.
So,
I know what you mean. I mean,
right,
we got some gaming goals.
Absolutely. So I have some personal gaming goals that I made for myself this year. I kind of just want to share them with you and hear about some of your thoughts. So
Sure.
For me personally, in 2018, my New Year's gaming resolution is to play every game that is in my collection this year.
Oh, how many have you not played?
There are several games in my collection that I have not played, and I'm ashamed of this. But I'm going to share it because this was full transparency on the Fighting Dirty Podcast.
Yes.
We pull no punches. So, in my own collection, games that I have War of the Ring. Now, some of these games I just purchased. I got them at Gen Con. I bought them online. I got a bunch of games. So, War of the Ring.
Okay.
I want to play that one. I also have Cry Havoc. And I've painted the miniatures. So, I feel like, we're ready. I know the game pretty good.
With the expansion also. You have the expansion.
I don't have the expansion for Cry Havoc, but
I thought you bought it.
No, but if I like the actual base game, I will definitely look into getting it. StarCraft, which we have.
Yes.
And we also have the expansion for. I've not played it.
Yes.
You've played it. I've not played it. We bought it. I just haven't got to play it yet, and I'm very interested in playing this game. I also have the Battle of Five Armies. Is another game. And I know I'm rushing through this, but I mean, I can't really talk about these games because I haven't played them. So I have First Martians, which will probably be literally the last game I play because it is so poorly received.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we should try it once at least.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. I want to try it. I have the Blood Bowl deck builder that I've not played. And finally... No, I have a few more. Sorry. Through the Ages, 2nd edition. I know, don't beat me, but I have had this game now for a while, and I still haven't played it. And I'm ashamed of that. Another deck builder in 51st State, which I just got some cool promos from supporting the Secret Cabal podcast, so I'm excited to get those in there and see what that does to the game. Sentinels Tactics, the Sentinels of the Multiverse board game that has little miniatures and tiles and stuff like that. I want to finish the Descent 2nd edition campaign. We've played it. We've played a significant chunk of it. I want to play it. I want to play it with the app, and I have several expansions, and I was just showing you the pieces. I have tons of the Lieutenant pack, and I've been actively painting these pieces, and I'm like, I want to hit this. I want this to hit the table, and honestly, I kind of want this to be the first one on the list that I just get through, because it's I've already kind of played through it. I know how to play it. I have a crap load of stuff for this game. It's just we've never finished it, and I want to finish it.
Well, how about you and I just we'll have a session where we just play the campaign. We can either play 2 characters, 4 characters, or you and I will just sit down with the app and we'll just play through this bitch.
I'm burn that thing slap up.
Slap up.
All right, that's what I want to do. 2 characters apiece, play against... Because when we played, every time that we played, I played as the Overlord.
Yes.
And so I was always the bad guys, which I enjoyed. It was a lot of fun. And I know that you played games where you were the Overlord.
Yeah.
But together, you and I, we have never played through the whole campaign together, and we never got to be, on the same side. And I want to run through it. I think we'd have a lot of fun with it. And I don't know. I've just been actively painting these things, so I kind of feel obligated. I have to play this this game.
And I think it'll be fine because we've played a game recently that we'll get to, Mansions of Madness, that uses an app. So I think that when we play through Descent, it's going to be really fun.
It's going to be so good.
I think the Overlord is going to be ran very well.
Yeah.
It's going to be challenging.
You're
going to
be getting tripwired.
Yeah.
You are going to be getting bamboozled.
A little bit.
It's going to, and in times like in those games that I've played, there are some sensitive times like, man, I could go really hard on these guys right now and ruin their experience. And I bet the computer will. So I look forward to that. So those are my games. I know it's a long list to digest, but I mean, it's a lot of area type control games, a couple Euros, a couple deck builders, and then really, I mean, First Martians is a campaign type game, and Descent is a campaign kind of game. So there's some hours there. So like I said, First Martians will probably be last, Descent will be first, and then Cry Havoc. And I hate to say it, I have to add this to the list right now because it just came in the mail today. Rising Sun.
Yeah,
I just got my Kickstarter
literally
today, and they didn't send me my player mat. And they're gonna get an email about it.
Yeah.
I need that player mat. The box is huge. Everything. So that game's probably gonna. I might get to that before I even get to Descent, but I'll probably do that on my own, just sitting around at home, get a game going. Maybe I can get a game on a Tuesday or Wednesday night with some people from work. Super excited to play Rising Sun.
Me too.
I hope it meets the hype. That's all. It's gotta meet the hype.
And you have everything. You went whole hog.
I went whole hog, and it's like we're talking. I didn't buy the art book.
Get the art book.
Okay, I didn't buy the art book, and that was $25. But I spent every other bit of money on that, and several $100s on a game. Real quick question. I know it has nothing to do with gaming resolutions. Is it overkill?
No.
All right, good. All right. So
no, because when we popped that box open, we were looking through the components,
so
and I was just like, man, this is so cool. It's going to be so fun. When you finally get the mat, you're still a plebe right now, but when you get that mat and we're putting all those pieces on there, and I'll help you batch paint those, because there were a few that were playing. We can paint those.
There's so many minis, and it's cool mini or not.
Yeah.
Those are nice minis.
Yeah.
They look awesome. I would love to paint those together.
Yeah.
That would be fun, something to do. I'd drive up and we can hang out for a weekend, just paint some crap and watch Netflix. I'd be down as a clown. That sounds like good old fashioned Midwest fun to me right there.
But it was really amazing. The box that you got was like 2 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet. It's huge. You brought it in, you go, look at this. And I'm looking around the table, and you're like, no, look at the box. And I'm looking I'm literally like standing in front of the, and I'm like, what do you want me to look at? You're like, the box!
A brown box.
And right on the side, it even said Rising Sun on the side. So
such a good feeling to get that email. Your box has shipped. And I was like, cool. And then I look and it goes, and it's arriving today by 8 p.m. Like, ooh. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this. All right, so that is my gaming resolutions for the year. I want to get all those games on the table. You got a ton of games that I want to play too. But I want to hear, what are some of your gaming resolutions for this new year, Gary?
Okay, when you ask this question, there's just a few things that I really want to do. I really need to finish painting up my Blood Rage miniatures. I started a long time ago. I got one of the clans pretty much done, and I kind of stopped. So there's 3 more clans I need to do. I have all the large miniatures painted, so I want to just really finish up Blood Rage. That game's so fun to just pull out, play, and then put it up. It plays really quick. You've played enough of it where I haven't played in like a year, but I can pop it on the table. I know how to play it, and with my wife, we can just pop it on there, play it, and we're done. Mm-hmm. So I need to finish up those miniatures. Painting it adds so much to the game, and I want to finish up my Blood Rage miniatures. I want to prepare for the Legend of the Five Rings tournament at Gen Con. Last year we didn't do any events. We did a lot of shopping around. We did a lot of going through the consignment shop, trying to discover new things. And I really wish we would have signed up for the Legend of the Five Rings tournament last year. At the time, I don't think you were totally interested in it. It wasn't until after we got into it. So this year you committed to playing in it. I committed into playing it. Our friend Kenny committed into it. So we've been playing online against each other. You and I have played about 4 or 5 games together. I've played 4 or 5 after that. So we're playing, but I need to play more. I need to get like 50 games in so that I know the cards, I can get there and just not get absolutely demolished.
I'm really enjoying playing online. I'm enjoying competing against friends, and I'm also, our buddy Phil plays online with us, and he lives in Hawaii, so it's just another way for me to connect with friends that are far away. I'm trying to get as many people in, and I look forward to the day when Fantasy Flight has their own system up and running where they have this game online for this. And we're heading into that horizon. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But for now, it's not a perfect website by any means. You know, it has some flaws. Some things, just some user error on my own part and stuff like that. But it allows you to see a variety of cards besides what you have in your collection there. But you can also see all these different types of decks and deck construction. Yeah, and I feel like it's really going to prepare us for the tournament. So
it has. This is a big one. I don't think this is going to happen. This is if it does happen, if we all get a wild hair and this does happen, it would be phenomenal, but I don't think it will. But I would love to start an online RPG session on Tabletop Simulator. Tabletop Simulator is just a little program that you download. A lot of people have it. You can download games and play Blood Rage. You can play any game you can think of. You just download it. You can play it. You move the pieces around with your mouse and physically do it. And there is a lot of stuff for role-playing games on there. I would love to DM a game online where we all get on there maybe just once a month even, just do quick one-shots. And this is just one that I don't think is going to happen. It takes a lot of time, but I really enjoy writing RPG sessions. It's really fun. I think I could condense them down to like 2 hours, but it's getting people to commit online. You know, that's a big thing. But it's not that hard. You get on Discord, say, hey, we're playing at 8. Everyone hops on. You can get in a Google Hangout, and then I could just DM the game from there. So I don't think it would be that difficult, but it's just getting people to commit and come back to it. So sure. That's one that I want to do.
That sounds like a lot of fun, honestly, and I think I could get a couple people to sporadically commit to something like that. You know what I mean? Like at least some one-shot sessions. You know, I don't know how much an ongoing campaign, but maybe, I don't know. I'd be receptive to it.
Okay. Well, we'll look into it. We'll see it. And the big one this year, which I think is going to for sure happen, 99% is...
Before you get there, before you bust, before you bust on your last gaming resolution for the year, what kind of game are you thinking? Are you thinking D&D? Are you thinking sci-fi? Are you thinking what kind of RPG are you thinking? Has you got something in your mind for this tabletop simulator? Like,
I would do whatever anybody wants to do. I could do a sci-fi setting. I could do Dungeons and Dragons. We could do Pathfinder, which is pretty much similar to Dungeons and Dragons. I would love to do like a Netrunner type of setting.
Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
That would be very cool. I was just curious what you're kind of thinking. I know there's a lot of options out there.
Yeah.
And Tabletop Simulator is something I've been checking out. I haven't played anything on the Tabletop Simulator, but I'm very interested. I looked through the list of games. They have a lot of good stuff on there.
They do.
And a lot more stuff is getting pumped out.
It's pretty neat, too. When you pick up the miniatures, they'll like move and swing and stuff like that. And when you set them down, and then when they attack, they'll move their arms and attack, things like that. It's really neat. It's such a cool program. And people are constantly adding new stuff. You just go to the workshop, you download something that people have made, and then you can just incorporate it into your game. Like, I was bored the other day. I started working on like a map. I was just tinkering around with it. And I was just antsing my pants because I was like, this could be so cool. I could do this, and I can really write a story from here. I think it'd be really interesting. So we'll talk to people, see if we want to do it. There's a lot of things that we got going on. So it's hard to have a lot of balls in the air, as you know, and then just come back to something like that. But commitment is the biggest issue with Dungeons and Dragons or RPGs, I believe. So the last resolution that I believe is going to 99% happen is go to Origins. We've never went. We've talked about it for years and years and years. And you've thrown the gauntlet down. You said we're going. And I said, we're going. We'll go for a couple days. We'll get a hotel for Friday night, stay Saturday, and leave in the morning. So Origins, that's the one I'm looking forward to the most.
We've gone to Gen Con so many times. I'm looking forward to seeing what some of these other conventions are like. I would love to go to Dice Tower Con someday.
Yeah.
I would love to go to BGG Con. I would love to go to PAX Unplugged. I'd love to go to BlizzCon. There's so many conventions that I want to go to. Yeah. Comic-Con. I want to do them all. But I will always go to Gen Con. Right. Gen Con will always be, as long as it's in Indianapolis, I'm going to be there.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean?
There's
Unless
no reason
something crazy was to happen.
Yeah.
Death, something like that.
Yeah, if you die, you're not going to be there.
Well, if I die, but someone else could possibly die. But I probably would still somehow make it there for at least part of a day.
Yeah.
I just would. All right, I love it that much. And this year will be my 10th Gen Con. But I'm looking forward to going to a different state with a different set of restaurants to go to, and I know that it's more about playing games there.
Right.
And I'm looking forward to that.
That's what I want to do the most, is just get there, play games. And when you're around people that play board games, you know what you're getting in general with people like that. You know, they're very receptive. Everyone just wants to game. They're not there to judge and things like that. So I think getting into games is going to be pretty easy. We're going to be able to meet a bunch of people that even go to Gen Con and Origins. We're going to be able to run into the same people like that. So it's going to be kind of starting our own little convention season.
Sure. And it's funny though, because it's like I follow a lot of different gaming, Twitter handles, and Tabletop Gaming Deals is a guy that I talk to, and it's like, if you're at Origins and I'm at Origins, I'm buying you a beer because you just like, I just love your Twitter. It's so good. You know what I mean? So it's like, I hope that we can go, and I hope that I can meet up with that guy and buy him a beer. I believe so, yeah.
Oh, cool. Let's for sure do that.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. And they also have a Cabal meetup, and that would be awesome to go to on the Saturday night. So it's just, there's all that stuff, like, just like at Gen Con, it's just smaller.
I'm getting hyped.
And it's January. It's only 6 months. It's like 6 months from like right around now. Right. Less than 6 months from right around now.
So we got to get working out.
I know, man. I got to start walking. I got to start doing some cardiovascular fitness here.
Some Kegels.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Tighten now.
Got to tighten up my midsection.
Yep.
Well, those sound like some very good gaming resolutions for the new year. I hope that I don't break them. I know it'll be a challenge for me to hit all my goals. I hope that we can meet them together. It's going to be a fun year. That's all I can say. If I have games to play and I have conventions to go to on the horizon, I have all these Kickstarters that have my juices flowing.
You went wild with Kickstarter.
Yeah, I don't think I have. But we're gonna get to all that. The first thing we need to do is we need to get to a review.
All right.
The people have been clamoring. They've been saying, "Where's these reviews?" All right, we're gonna hit you up with a review right now. This is a game that I just recently, within the last 2 months or so, picked up and played it for the first time, and it is 7 Wonders Duel from Repost Productions.
This is one that I picked up when it came out. The price is so low, there was just no reason not to get it. It's about $20-ish. And I love 7 Wonders. I could play 7 Wonders any day. When people show up, it doesn't matter. You have 3, you can play it. You have 4, 5, 6, 7, you can play 7 Wonders. And the game is just fun to me because it's always variable. You always have to have new strategies. You're not going to get the same cards. In general, it's kind of like the first round, you want to get your resources so you can pay for cards. And then you go from there. But you always have to defer because you'll notice the man to your left is drafting science. The guy to your right is drafting military. So you always got to alter. I love 7 Wonders. Great game. So when Duel came out, I have to get this because it's 2 players only. It's 1 versus 1. It's essentially 7 Wonders. It's tiny. It's easy to pop out. It's easy to set up. There's not a lot to it. And it's more 7 Wonders. I'm picking this up. So when you first played it, where did you see it? Did you just see it and on a Wild Hair you picked it up, or did you hear me talk about it?
I've seen it for a while now. I just hadn't played it, and I was looking for a different 2-player game to play. I was just like, I need something 2-player to play that is just I can replay a bunch of times. That's gonna keep me coming back to it. I need something that's competitive because I've just been playing. It's like I've been playing The Godfather head to head. I've been playing Bunny Kingdom head to head. I've been playing King of Tokyo head to head. I've been playing some stuff that I enjoy to play. But I needed something different, and I needed a challenge, and I felt like this. And when I was looking on like best 2-player games, this is on everybody's list, so I picked it up. It's amazing. It's just amazing. So let's just jump into it. Like the theme of 7 Wonders. How would you describe the theme for this game?
7 Wonders Duel is a 2-player city building game. It uses drafting and set collection, and you'll gather resources to pay for your civilizations that you'll build. You'll build other structures in your city, and you'll have to pay for military, invest in science. What you do is basically build all this up to either try and score the most points at the end of the game, try and have the largest military, or have a science victory. And you'll do this by drafting cards. What's really, really cool about this game is that you'll draft these cards from giant structures that you'll build. So you'll set up a pyramid of cards. Some will be face up, some will be face down. And the cards that you can draft are only uncovered. So, for example, at the top of the pyramid, you'll have 2 cards, and the cards will cascade down in rows from there. So at the bottom, you can only draft from the bottom row. So as the cards start to get drafted, you'll uncover the cards above them, and now those cards you can draft. It's so unique.
So
I've not
smart.
played anything like that. It's so cool, and you have to take that into account because if your opponent is drafting science and you really want to draft a card that's a military card, but underneath it is science, you got to do some math real quick and understand that if I draft this, they're going to grab that science card. But if I wait, I might miss that military card, but in 3 turns, I can guarantee that I can draft that military, or they'll draft the military card, and I can take their science card. So there's a lot of strategy to it, and you got to do... It's not difficult math. It's pretty simple.
No.
But the gameplay is great. I love it. And the theme plays out pretty well. It's kind of neat because at the beginning of the game, you'll draft 8 wonders. The game's called 7 Wonders. There can only be 7 wonders. So it behooves you to build the 4 wonders that you have so your opponent can't build their 4, because then they can only build 3. I love the theme of this game. It's so smart. It's always a back and forth. You do this, I'll do that. And it's give and take. It's a phenomenal game. I love it.
I think they just nailed it. I mean, obviously with 7 Wonders, and it's not just a pared down version of it. It is its own game.
Yeah.
And the theme resonates just as it does in 7 Wonders. You are building civilization from scratch. So you need the most basic things, and slowly over time you'll develop your civilization. I love that about this game. So the theme is right there for me. How'd you feel about the components in this game? And they're slightly different than 7 Wonders, but similar.
Yeah, I mean, the cards are bigger in 7 Wonders. In 7 Wonders Duel, they're tiny. They're really small. I would almost like a 7 Wonders Duel Deluxe Edition. I would like big cards. But then again, when you make that card pyramid,
It's huge.
it's going to be massive if the cards are big. Yeah. The components aren't great. They're not great. But for the price, they're fine.
Is it a complete, are the pictures exactly the same from 7 Wonders and 7 Wonders Duel? Is it like...
They're different.
They're different. Okay, well, that's good. And I felt like they're definitely... Those are different.
Yeah.
Wonders. So,
they looked a little bit different.
A little bit different. So there's some variance there. So it's not like you're just buying the miniature version of 7 Wonders. It's its own game. Similar-ish in art style and things like that. The components... Did you sleeve yours? Did you sleeve your little cards?
No, because the game is so cheap that if it starts to wear out, I would just buy a new one. It's
that good, though, where you would just buy another copy
Yeah,
of it.
and that's the thing about it, too. It's so cheap. It would take more time to honestly sleeve everything and then have to re-sleeve if a sleeve busts. I can just get a new 7 Wonders Duel. This game's so good. And what I want to also include is the components fit into the tray. It's a tiny tray. Fits in perfectly.
Yeah.
You don't have to... bag anything. Everything's in there. You'll set it back. There's not a lot of components. They're not, like I said, the best of quality, but everything is serviceable.
Everything locks into place. And it was a good job. It has a nice insert for what it has. You know, they did a good job. Repost Productions, 7 Wonders Duel. They really killed it. And I almost feel like Duel. I don't know if it's more popular, but people love this game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know if it's more popular than 7 Wonders, but. It's super popular.
I think a lot of that is 7 Wonders has been around so long, and 7 Wonders is a game that you can pop out. You can bust through 4 games if you're really cooking in an hour. So you can get some games of 7 Wonders. And this game, I feel like, even though there's only 2, it takes about as long as a 4-player game of 7 Wonders, and that's fine with me. It goes the very first game. It took a minute to make sure we were doing everything right, but then after that first game, you can cook through some of those games. It's great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So tell me some more about the gameplay. What are some things that you like? You gave us a pretty good description of how the drafting works and all that stuff.
The first thing I want to point out is when you play this game, you have to sit next to each other. You have to sit shoulder to shoulder next to each other, as opposed to when you play card games, you sit across from each other, and you have to do that so you can all see the board. The little tableau that gets put out has a little military track, it has a progress track, and that's about it. And that's pretty much the only piece besides the cards and the cardboard coins. So what happens is when you draft military, this little token's going to move toward your opponent. And when you move it 9 spaces, you've won by military victory. You've drafted enough military where your military's marched into their city and you've sacked it, so you've won the game. And that's easy. It's easy to represent. You know how far their military is. You know that you can't keep letting them draft military. It's easy. It's represented easy. So everything's easy to understand in the game. When you draft science, when you get 2 of the same icon, you get what are called progress tokens. These are random at the beginning of the game. They'll add like 7 money to you. They'll give you cheaper cards to buy, things like that. They just give you tiny bonuses, but they're usually worth getting. They're little, just tiny bonuses that help you, win the game. So there's 5 of those out at the beginning of the game. So you'll notice that once your opponent is starting to get these and you're not getting them, they're starting to kind of take off because things are cheaper, they have more money, things like that. So I just love how quickly the turns go. I'll take my turn, I'll do something, it's your turn. It goes quick. There's not a whole lot of AP, so it goes fast. It's a quick game.
When we were playing Seven Wonders, and I was crippled with AP. I mean, and you go, would you play a card? It's like, dude, I am crippled right now. I did not even realize how many blue cards Kenny had. I looked over like, where'd you get all them blue cards? Yeah. It was like 10 blue cards.
Right. And you're right. When you were saying that when you're playing with multiple people, you need to really pay attention to your right and left, what's going on. And when you haven't played for a while, that's difficult. But with Duel, everything's right in front of you, so you can visualize everything. You can visualize the whole map of the game, what's going on, and it's quick. So
the gameplay, what I love the drafting in this, and you've explained it as a pyramid, but each of the 3 ages that you play, the shape changes, and that is super cool. Yeah. I love it. It's like it's a pyramid, it's an upside down pyramid, and then it's kind of like 2 pyramids stacked together.
Yeah, in a column.
In like a column. Yeah. There's one thing that I love that they did in this game that they didn't do in the regular Seven Wonders. In the regular Seven Wonders, it's like if you own this card, then you can play this card for free. But you got to read the word.
Yeah, on the bottom in Seven
Wonders.
Wonders.
In Duel, they gave you that little symbol.
Icon. Easy.
That little icon change just everything. And it's like, so if you buy this card, you unlock this icon of a half moon, a crescent moon.
Yeah.
And later, hey, if you have a crescent moon in your pool of things that you've already built, then this card's free.
Yep.
And those icons, it takes a game and just not dumbs it down. It just simplified it. It made it so easy. I'm just like, oh, there's a Spartan helmet. I'll take that. That is one thing that I feel like it enhanced the game because it's just so easy to see. Because and that was where the AP was coming from. I was like, all right, I have the laboratory. Okay, do any of these the laboratory?
Yeah.
I'm looking for anything that's free right now.
Right.
And the third age, especially.
Yeah.
So that is something that I love that they did in this game, and it makes the gameplay go, like you said, even faster. So like I was crippled with some AP analysis paralysis when we were playing regular Seven Wonders, but in Duel I don't ever feel that way. It's just like turn, go, turn, go, turn, go, turn, go, next stage. It's fast, and that's what I love about it. Plays in 30 minutes or less. Yeah. That's amazing. Seven Wonders Duel. Amazing.
One thing I liked was really neat that they changed was you could always discard cards for coins in Seven Wonders. In this one, you can discard a coin and you get 2 coins plus the number of yellow cards, which represent usually wealth in your city. So if you're drafting these yellow cards, it sometimes behooves you to just throw one out and just get $6 because you have 4 golden cards out. It's really neat. They just all the aspects of the game of Seven Wonders are in Duel, but they just gradually modified them, and I really feel they're kind of better.
Yeah?
I really do. And I'm not pooping on Seven Wonders. I just really like Seven Wonders and Seven Wonders Duel. They're both very similar games, and I will play both of them, obviously, in different situations. You can't play Seven Wonders Duel with 3 people. But if it's just me and you or me and my wife sitting around, I'll pop some Seven Wonders Duel there and play the crap out of this game. But Seven Wonders is always going to be a game that I'm always going to come back to.
Absolutely. So the final thing in the review, replay value, obviously, it's pretty high.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I agree. The pyramid of cards is going to be different every single time. You're going to want to try and get military victories. It's hard to do. But when you do finally acquire a military victory, it's pretty satisfying because you have to take some risks. You have to give up a lot to try and get a military victory to move it all the way into there.
Because of the back and forth, though.
Yes.
You play military, I play military.
So you have
play
to
military, I play military.
Right,
and it moves the gauge up and down.
Exactly.
And it just makes it, you're like, I really got to play some military right now or I'm getting throttled. And as you're moving that military thing, it's unlocking those things like, hey, lose 2 coins.
Yeah.
Hey, lose five coins.
five.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that, you're like, oh, I just got this money. You know, like, oh, now I'm losing. So if someone's going military, you kind of got to go military too, or you're gonna get railroaded.
Yeah.
It's gonna cost you. So you gotta be acting on that, and I love that about it.
And not only that, they have an expansion for it that added gods to the game. And all this little expansion does is it goes over the tableau, and it has these little slots where you'll put these gods above the tableau, and you can draft those. Like, there'll be little cards within the pyramid that you can draft when you draw these, and then you have the opportunity to buy these gods, and they add little bonuses to your game. And it's phenomenal. It adds even more replay to the game. This game has a high replay. You're not going to get bored of it until you've played like 50, 60, 70 games.
All right, Gary. Final thoughts? Do you have any final thoughts on Seven Wonders Duel? Any other things that you want to add?
Nothing really to add, just that the game is so cheap that take a chance on this one. Trust us when we say this is a great game. This is one that you'll get enjoyment with your spouse. Even if they're not particularly gamers, it's easy to teach, it's easy to pick up, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm glad I went out on a limb and just picked it up because I was just looking for something to play head to head. Because sometimes you're in the situation like, oh, this game's not all that great head to head. This game's great with 3 people. This game's great with 4 people. This game's great with 6 people. Sometimes I just need a game that's good head to head, and this for me, it's probably my favorite, my number one head to head game because it's so easy. You can play it with your mom, your grandma, your neighbor. Like, anyone can play this game. It's so simple. And I just love that about games.
And a game takes about, what, 20
minutes,
maybe 30 minutes to play?
If
it's fast.
The first time playing it. It's fast, it's easy, it's fun, super high replay value. You're going to get your money out of this game. It's going to come down to like, man, I'm down to like about 38 cents a play on this game, on this board game. Especially in this age where you're paying hundreds of dollars to back on Kickstarter, and you're like, am I ever gonna get that out of this game? I don't know if I am. It's gonna be awesome, but hundreds of dollars worth of enjoyment. It's tough. It's tough, bro.
Yeah, this game might have one of the highest values out of the box for how cheap it is.
For how cheap it is and the number of times that you're going to play it, you are really going to get your money's worth out of Seven Wonders Duel from Repost Productions. All right, and now the next game we're going to review tonight is from Fantasy Flight Games, Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition. And this is a game I have been dying to play forever. It's been so long, and to now just have played this game, I feel guilty because I am a shill for these games. I am a shill for Elder Sign, Arkham Horror, Eldritch Horror, pretty much anything H.P. Lovecraft, and especially the Fantasy Flight games. So so Gary, run us through Mansions of Madness. Tell us a little bit about the theme and those types of things.
Basically, it's an H.P. Lovecraft horror action adventure game that is run by an application, which is absolutely astonishing. It controls basically how the board's set up, how the components are doled out, how the monsters are ran. So you don't have to do any of that. It's kind of cool because when you open the app up, it has music, it reads the intro to you, there's a lot of voiceover. So it automatically just sets up the feel for the game. You get what the theme of the game is right off the bat from the music, from the way the narrator speaks. And then it immediately starts telling you how to set the board up and what monsters are going to pop out and gives you little vague pieces of information on what's going to happen during the game.
And I think they just nailed it. I've only played through 2 scenarios, but within a matter of moments, I felt completely immersed into this game. The theme, it oozes, it saturates. I can taste this game. I could smell this game. The fear was real when playing this game. The paranoia, everything about this game, it hit so hard for me. And like I said, I am a shill. I'll play. That got Cthulhu in it. Let me play that. Let me try that. You know what I mean? And it might be trash. They make a bunch of those games. You know what I mean? So I'll try about any game you slap that on.
Right.
You got Cthulhu dice?
let me roll them.
Let me roll them bones.
And to add to that, all the other games I get into him. I get into the story, but I've never had that sense of kind of dread until I've played this one. Because this isn't really a big spoiler. The first time we played it, there was something on the other side of the door, and it was making like a banging noise. And I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. So it's little things like that. The integration of the app into the game absolutely adds to the theme. I actually get a sense of dread, a sense of we need to rush to get to the end of the game. We need to do this, that. Whereas in those other games, you can kind of just look at the board strategically and be like, I need to do this, this, and this. Which you can do in this game, but with the noise and the music in the background, it just adds to that, and it adds to that sense of urgency in the game.
So the first time we played it on a phone.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
The next time we played it on a tablet.
Much better.
And I'm like, dude, I want to get this on like a 60-inch TV, like right on the table with the components. Like the speakers are blaring. Like I need it. I need maximum immersion into this game.
Yes.
Like that's where I want to go. So the theme, they kill it. I mean, we play, I don't know about spoilers, any of that kind of stuff, but we played a game where we were in Innsmouth, and man, I was there, bro. I was in Innsmouth.
They had that look, and I could see it in their eyes.
It was, and as a fan of stories and just everything they do, supporting like H.P. Lovecraft's work, the scenarios I've played, they've been so amazing. The theme, it totally resonates throughout. I mean, I'm from the start of the game, you're hooked. I just feel like they like hooked me, they pulled and they reeled me in, and I went on this ride, and that ride several hours. And at no point where I was like,
I'm bored.
Yeah. I want this to end. I was just like, at the whole time, it was just every decision I was making along the way, it had importance. Do I go down this hallway or open this door? You know, like it was just those little choices that you make that seem so, when you're playing a video game, they're just innocuous. You just run around, open doors, ding, 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 ding. You know, like when you're playing like Fallout or Skyrim or something, you just run around, loot a house real quick. In this game, you're like, do I open this door?
Right.
Do I go down? Do I dare open the map here? Like, if I open this section of the board without anybody with me, it could be perilous.
It could be bad. Yeah.
It could be real bad.
And not only that, you're trying to solve a mystery essentially. And around the board, you'll find little puzzles, which is absolutely astonishing. It's absolutely amazing how much these little puzzles add to the theme of the game. So what happens is you'll go to a point on the board and it'll say you can interact with this painting. And what you have to do is rearrange the painting so the picture is correct. And so you only have so many moves. It'll go by your lore. So if your lore is 5, you can move 5 pieces around. So you don't get to just solve the puzzle in one get-go. It may take you multiple turns to solve it, or it may take multiple investigators to solve it. It's so cool. It's amazing. I love this game. The app adds so much to it. And I was honestly afraid when these games started coming out. I thought all games were going to have apps, and it's going to take away from actually the board game element. It doesn't. It's integrated in perfectly, and Fantasy Flight is killing it.
What it does with the app, it's just like nothing about it takes away from playing, like tactilely. Like you want to hold things. You want those pieces in your hands. You want to touch them and stuff and you still have all that. It's just like the app kind of is just running. It's running the monsters for you, but he's still a guy on the board and you see him and you put him out there. It just helps you to play these games in a way where it's kind of like just having that extra guy that you need. That sometimes nobody wants to play. Right. They don't always know. Sometimes like I don't mind playing the bad guy. I kind of get a kick out of it. Like I don't mind being the overlord or anything like that in a game. And if this allowed for it, I might get a kick out of playing the monsters in Mansions of Madness. It'd probably be a lot of fun. A lot of good monsters in this game.
But sometimes there's only 2 of you, and it's not fun playing games like this. Now you can.
Yeah, for sure. And so they just killed it. So tell me a little bit about the gameplay. What'd you like about this? I mean, you've played it a lot more than I have. I know you've gotten a couple more sessions in than me. So the gameplay so far, after the few games that you've got to play.
Sure. So the game is 1 to 5 players. You're going around the board trying to solve a mystery. And what's really neat is at the beginning of the game, it doesn't tell you what you need to do. You just get the feeling. You get the flow of like, oh, I need to go look at this. Oh, I need to go through this door. And the map will gradually unlock. So what happens is if there's a door, you'll click on the app and it'll say, do you want to open this door as an action? You click it, you open the door. The game will then reveal another tile. You'll pop it on there. It'll say, put a search token here, put a search token here. You can move one space into the room, and then it'll spawn a monster. It'll tell you exactly what's going on. So you don't have to deal with much except the setup. And it's not that hard because all of the tiles are labeled. They're pretty easy to find. They're pretty easy to identify. All the components are very easy to put on the board. It's really easy to set up. So the thing about it is, I've played the same scenario a couple times, and they have been gradually different. There's been different like setup like tokens on the board, whereas there'll be like an item here, and next time it was a person. It was totally different. So I don't know if a lot of the tiles changed, but it was different enough where you can play through these 3 or 4 times where, you know, trying to defeat these scenarios where I don't think it'll get boring. I think eventually it could lead to issues, but what's really interesting about the gameplay is that as you get expansions, you'll go into the app, you'll click like, I own Streets of Arkham now, click it in. Guess what? It's going to start incorporating those tiles into those scenarios, those monsters into those scenarios, where if you didn't have it, you know, it just runs with what you have. So it'll start incorporating the other components into the game, which is amazing.
And this is including first edition Mansions of Madness.
Right.
So when you're setting up the game, you can say, I have first edition Mansions of Madness. And the only thing it's adding is some of the monsters that are in that box.
Investigators.
And the investigators.
Right.
Yeah, it's not the tiles or anything like that.
Right.
So, like, you're just getting some of the good stuff from Mansions of Madness First Edition.
Yeah.
If you have it, it's just another benefit of, hey, might as well grab second, because now they work together, and some of those hiccups from the first Mansions of Madness have now been cleaned up.
I've not had an experience like this. This is new. This is totally different than what XCOM was. You know, it uses an app also. That game is completely different. This game blows that game out of the water app-wise. I mean, I still love to play XCOM. This is fun. But this is a totally new level. Anyways, back to the gameplay. Sorry, I digress. It's super simple. The game, you'll have 2 actions during your turn. You'll take your 2 actions. The other players will take their 2 actions. And then the Mythos phase will come up.
And
it'll move the monsters. Bad things will happen. And it randomly picks people. So like one time, it targeted like Matt. Matt got like thrown to the ground and he took a bunch of damage. And it was just like, why me? Because.
Just because.
And it's so simple. All the actions are really easy. You'll move up to 2 spaces, you'll attack. If you're in range, range is 3 tiles away, so if you have a gun, you can shoot a monster from 3 tiles away. You can explore, you can trade items, you can interact with the puzzles on the board, with special tokens, with characters on the board, or you can use one of your components. That's it. There's not a whole lot of other things you can do. And when special actions do come up, the app will tell you like what to do when those things occur. So it's all there to just easily, you know, pick up and play. And what's really neat about it too is if we're playing forever and we get tired, you can save your game. You can play half a game, save it, and be like, wow, man, I'm tired. Let's play tomorrow, or let's come back. Save your game, come back. It's set up, and it's all there for you. The gameplay's super simple. I taught my daughter, Kennedy, how to play. We played through it. She absolutely adored this game. She can't wait to play again. We played it again a second time with her. She had her friend with her. She's never played a board game in her life. She was playing Mansions of Madness in minutes. And it's that simple, where she was in one room, and I go, Haley, what do you think you should do? She goes, I'm going to search. You know what I mean? And it's so cool. Whenever you want to do something, you touch it on the app. You want to fight? You touch the little icon on the bottom. I'm fighting this monster with a heavy weapon. You just click it, and it tells you what to do. Your strength is this, and it has a little blurb. You know, you swing wildly with your 2x4. Roll this many dice for your strength. And you roll it. It'll tell you how many successes you need. If you succeed, it'll tell you how much damage. If you fail, it'll tell you what to do. It lets you know exactly what to do. It's like having a dungeon master there, and it runs the game so smart. It's not boring. That's what I was afraid of. I thought it was just going to be sterile. It's so dynamic, man. I love the game. I'm going to kind of give a slight spoiler here. It's not huge, but what happened is we started this one scenario, and a monster spawned outside, and it was basically outside a building, and it was trying to get in this building, and it was going around the street. At one point, it left from our view. It just left the board. It said, take this monster off the board. And I go, what the fuck? Yeah. It went around the corner, man. It left, and the game kept track of it. Those tiles hadn't been revealed, but it was on those tiles, and that's why it said remove it. And I was just like blown. It blew my mind, because I was like confused. I was like, why did it leave? Is it going to randomly appear in here in our building or something? Now the thing was patrolling around the goddamn building. Yeah. It was amazing. blew my mind.
The game's alive.
It is.
Those monsters live.
So, I mean, do you have anything to add on to the gameplay there?
I mean, we should talk about insanity. I mean, at some point, you're going to take sanity damage in this game, and it is going to tell you what to do. It's going to change the way you play this game. You are going to be giving a new task that you must complete. It'll say, do this. Even if your team wins the game, and if you don't do this, you don't win the game.
Right.
Or you're not allowed to do this anymore in the game.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to, if we're going to avoid spoilers and things like that, it changes your whole game. Once you take that max sanity damage, you're not dead. You're just crazy.
It changes the game completely.
And let me tell you, I went crazy. And I was obsessive.
Yeah.
I was tweaking. I was just I had the drive. I just had some things that I had to do, and it changed the way I played the game for the rest of the time. Where I felt like we were playing a really pretty good game.
Yeah.
A couple bonehead moves were made. Simultaneously, bonehead moves were made, and then I all of a sudden was insane.
Right.
And the game, it just shifted from there.
Yeah.
And once I went insane, and
You weren't as
we
helpful
got
as you wanted to
scattered,
be,
and
yeah.
I wasn't as helpful as I was before.
I went insane the first game,
Yeah,
and
it was-
it drastically changed the game because... Should we spoil it?
No, that's fine.
Okay, I won't spoil it. But something happened, and I couldn't do something, and it was just like Matt was trying to get information from me, and I couldn't give it to him. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
And it was just like...
And if that would have been the only time I played this game, if I happened to be another gamer, they might say that game is messed up.
Yeah.
But because
love
I'm like, I can't wait to play this game 20 times in my lifetime or
Yeah.
more,
Yeah.
like I can't wait to just burn this game down. I'm willing to come back to it. And so we played, I don't know if it was back-to-back weekends, but it was like, within a month we played 2 different games, and I can't wait to play it again.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, we were close to winning this game.
We were so
And
close.
people gotta listen.
Yeah.
People got to know when to run.
Yeah.
They didn't understand the fear. See,
no.
where I was immediately, and that might say something. So Gary and I are fans of the mythos in general, and so immediately I was like, they're like in Smith. I was just scared. I was
Yeah.
immediately scared. Where some of our friends, they don't even know what that means, so they
Yeah.
weren't there. And so, like immediately, it was like, what do we do? And it was like, go slow. I was like, go slow. Let's go
Right.
slow. And then it was like, now we need to run. Now we gotta go. It's
Right.
like we gotta get to the end of this game, and it was like too late. It was
Yeah.
just like, and now you need to run. You gotta run. You're not running. You should have ran. That was like the fun part for me.
Yeah, and it does really add that. I would love to play this game with Roger. Me, you, and Roger
Oh,
would have
man.
so much fun because we're both steeped in the lore of the game. So, like, when a deep one spawns, I don't fuck around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to mess around. I'm going to get out of there because I'm not equipped to deal with this right now. The game is aggressive. It's very challenging.
Yeah.
Even though there's some turns where it's not as interesting as you want it to be.
Did we win the first time we played? I don't think we did.
No, we lost.
I've never won anything in
lost.
this game.
Right.
I'm just having fun losing.
Yes. We've lost both times. I won once with my daughter, and I think I played another time and won.
You gotta get with some real gamers if you want to win.
Yeah. and we were doing good. It's just there was one massive misplay that we tried to let them know what they should do, and they chose not to listen.
And it changed the game.
And we lost the game. Let's go ahead and move on to components. So what did you think about these components in the game?
I think they killed it. Fantasy Flight, they always impress me. They changed up some of the art, which is always awesome because, hey, I've had Arkham Horror for close to a decade now. Played the expansions. Some of that art was used in Eldritch. Some of that art's used in these other games. And that is one thing that I don't like. I feel like you could commission an artist, bring him in, and use some stuff. Joe Diamond, I want to see him from 3 different angles. Right. I got 3 games, I want to see 3 different angles of Joe Diamond's profile, if that's what it takes, So I was happy to see that there was lots of new art in the game.
Yeah, there was some reused art.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's fine. But it wasn't all completely just the same old stuff I've been seeing. Okay, so I appreciate the effort. For the price, it should be some new art in there. At
it's
80,
MSRP
at an 80.
100.
Okay, and that's fair. I believe that's fair. The tiles, amazing tiles as always. I love the dim lighting on there. They do a good job. You can feel it. The theme resonates in the tile itself.
Yes.
Like it's there. And the minis, good quality. Not chintzy by any means. Now it's only the monsters and your characters,
yes,
right?
yeah.
Those are the only minis in the game. So you got monsters, you got characters. I wish we had a copy of first edition to add some more monsters. I ain't played the game enough to where it matters, but I mean, I saw what all the components in the game was.
We're gonna have to really hit that auction up at Gen Con and get that.
I'm sure we can find a copy of that, and I've seen they hold a fair value, especially now with
for sure.
With this, like you get to integrate it into this amazing game where I'm sure by now, because it's been out for some amount of time, that people have not exhausted the game, but they're looking for. I need that Streets of Arkham expansion. I'm ready for it, and like, I definitely got that first edition and integrated it so that the game is got a little variability to it. So I like that. I was impressed with the components.
Yeah, the tiles are thick cardstock. You're going to be using these, flipping them over a lot. Mm-hmm. They didn't cheap out on these. They're thick. They're a good thickness, and they're going to last a long time. So,
and that's what I've come to expect from Fantasy Flight. Though.
Right.
Like Descent tiles are amazing. I'm expecting that level. It's got to be that level. And these tiles I thought are nicer than the Descent tiles. The art on these tiles is amazing. It's rooms, it's hotel rooms, it's streets.
It's hotel lobby,
it's a
really
hotel
good.
lobby. They got
couches.
Some of them are square, some of them are rectangle, and the map just builds and expands. And I feel like that can be so different so many times.
Yeah.
And
especially
not
when you pick up
infinite amounts of times, but a shitload amount of times. So
I thought the miniatures were kind of okay-ish. They're not the best, but at least they're there. So I would love for an Arkham Horror or Eldritch Horror, they should have included character miniatures, but they didn't. You get tokens, which is fine. It's meh. But at least you got them in this game. Mm-hmm. The one thing that I don't like about the miniatures is they come with a little base, and you got to plug them into the base. Yeah. And you'll slide the monster token into the bottom of the base so you can see the stats. A lot of times the characters don't fit on those bases really great. So they're kind of meh, but they're serviceable. Mm-hmm. They're okay. I think that's honestly the worst part about the components is the miniatures and the bases. But it's just a minor gripe. They're fine.
Well, now that you say that was kind of weird. I was trying to get one of them on its stand, and it would not I could not get it. Now, you or Kenny or somebody eventually got it, and I was like, oh, there it goes. But it was like, I fiddled with it for a fair amount of time. Yeah. It wasn't just like, I tried for one time, and I was like, just let it roll. Like, I was fucking with that thing. And it wasn't going in the slot appropriately.
Right.
And it was just one of those, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. They're not cool mini or not level quality miniature, but it's still good. It's still fine. Good, and I like it. I'm a minis guy. I want those freaking minis,
right?
Well, especially for that kind of money. There better be a mini in there for $100. It better be.
There's gotta be. And the thing about it is, I would pay extra for quality minis for this game. I'm just saying, as all Fantasy Flight, you want to put out a special edition.
I mean, you make X-Wing and stuff.
I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you that money.
What would it, 120 would that have made that just so the legs are just stuck to the stand like perma?
Yeah.
Like, would the extra $20, would that have fixed that?
Probably not. I don't know. It's plastic, so it's not
probably
that expensive.
They're going to China.
I'm just saying, I would have probably paid an extra $50 for quality miniatures for this game. That's how much I like it. And because you can take these miniatures, move them over to your Arkham game, move them over to your Eldritch game. You can reuse these. And they have those. They'll have miniatures that you can buy in the past, and they're not that great quality. They're pre-painted and everything, but they're not that great. I'd rather paint them myself and have quality, cool mini or not, Eldritch Horror miniatures is what I'm saying.
For sure.
So one thing we can't move on from before we leave the component section is the app. We got to talk about the app. What did you think initially when you saw it? Speak about how we played on a phone and then we played on a tablet.
Yeah. The app, it runs very smoothly. It is sexy to look at. For me, when I think of things, it's all about how it looks. And in this game, it's like it should be dimly lit, but not dimly lit in a way where things are hard to see. It's just it gives you that sense, and it's just like it's that era where we're rocking a little bit of electricity. We got some. I got some oil lamps too.
It's the 20s.
It's just like it's that era where it's not. It's just not the bright, vibrant world that we know. You know what I mean? It is much harder to see things and it just gives you that sense, that old world sense. And old world's 100 years ago.
You literally start with a lantern sometimes.
Yes, sometimes you start with a lantern,
and sometimes things catch on fire.
Sometimes.
So yeah, I mean you're absolutely right. I'm loving that you caught on to that. The lighting is a big issue in this game, and the way they drew the pictures on the app and on the tiles is excellent.
It's spot on.
The artists were great.
It's like when I look at the app, I'm looking right at the board. They're exactly the same. There's no like, oh, that kind of looks different. It's like it's spot on. They killed it. It's way better to play with a iPad or a tablet of some kind, or I'm sure a computer would be great. Like I said, I want to play it on a television. I want to run that app through a TV, or run the app through the tablet through a television, and like really get in there. Right. I think that would be awesome. The music, super creepy. It's suspenseful. It's chilling at times.
Yeah.
I love that it reads you. Do I wish it would read to you a little more? I kind of do.
Yeah,
but it's not a deal breaker for me. But I do kind of wish it would read to you a little more. And I think some people would agree with that. And some people are like, it's no big deal. It really is no big deal to me. But to some people, I feel like they would enjoy that. And I just enjoy a good reading. Right. Especially if you brought in some voice actor to really, that guy, really kill it. And
right.
That to me is something they could have done. But it's no big deal. Like, it really isn't. And
because you're right, it doesn't narrate everything. When we play these games, I generally become the narrator. I'll narrate all these things, read all the cards, read all this stuff. And by the end of the game, when we're in 3 hours deep, my throat was killing me. And at the end, I was so tired and my throat hurt. I was just like, roll for strength. And just I was just exhausted.
It was a long campaign, and that is a lot to ask of somebody. But it's appreciated by those. It gives the game continuity. That part of it. So between the app and having like one person like read the stuff out loud to kind of be the narrator of the game, it really does help. I feel it helps. So the app, they killed it. Comparing it to XCOM and things like that, this is the best. To me, this is the best one I've seen so far. I've not played with the Descent app. We're going to talk about another app coming up later in this show. But for now, I think this is the bar.
Usability in this, which is key for apps, as any app designer would know, or even users of it. It's huge, and the app is so easy to use. You can't really mess things up.
No.
We did mess something up when my daughter and I were playing. She took an extra move as opposed to she was like, "Whoops, I shouldn't have did that." I was like,
Was she doing a puzzle?
Yes,
that's what I did too. Though.
Yeah,
I did the same thing. I just
and the one
you only get 2 movements. You went to 3. Like that. Yeah, that just.
Flubbed it. So there is no back button. You have to be precise with some of that stuff with the puzzles, and you'll discover that as you play the game. You're like, there's no back button, so I can't undo my move. So you just got to be careful.
Yeah, and within the app, something that you did mention, the puzzles, they're awesome. And they just crank it up. And I think about Fantasy Flight, and it's like, wow, imagine how long they've been in this game. Like, they've been doing this. Elder Sign as a game on your phone, it's like 10 years or something, right? Are we going on 10 years of Elder Sign on your phone? 8 years, Like, they've had a long time to work out kinks, and I think it makes them, it sets them apart in the industry, and they're doing it.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of other apps out there. I just haven't played them, so I feel like this one, though, usability's super easy.
Yeah.
Everything worked and functioned really well. Combat, I felt, was super easy. And it's like, what's the weapon? What's the spell? Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, all right, roll for it. You need this amount of successes. Easy. It's easy. It's consumable. And I love that about games. I don't want... this kind of game it's not a hack and slash game, but it could be, and you can have a lot of fun with it.
That's what I was thinking. They could have a killer hack and slash game like this. That's why I'm so excited to play Descent. I cannot wait until the tiles are spawning. It's spawning monsters, and it's just dealing with that. It's move the monster here, and attack the act. I can just see that on a larger scale where they have just tons of miniatures on the board, and you're just hacking and slashing, and they can do anything they want now.
Diablo the board game.
Pretty much. That's what I want, and that's what I was thinking. So
you spend 10 minutes setting up the board, and then you just wipe guys out with one attack.
Imagine playing Forbidden Stars, but with 3 computer-generated players.
That'd be fun. Oh, and I was thinking about this. With the app, I'd play this game solo. I would burn this game slap up solo.
I know.
I'll play 2 characters, 3 characters. Okay. And just run through this game and have fun. It's a big mystery. You're solving a mystery, and I love that stuff. We were just talking about, we love that kind of noir theme, the detective theme, those types of things. And this game kills it.
Yeah.
They kill it.
Right now there's 13 scenarios right now, so there's a lot of material. Wow. So there's 11 that you'll get with all the expansions in the base game, and there's 2 that you can buy for $5 a piece, which is well worth it. $5 to get hours of enjoyment. You can't beat that.
And that was Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition from Fantasy Flight Games. We don't really do like a star rating or a stamp of approval, but this is just a
It would have all of them.
It got it all. 5 stars, 2 thumbs up, slap approval, burn slap up. We love it. Yeah, we support this. This is, and to me, for whatever it's worth, this is my favorite of all of them.
Wow, I like that.
Between Eldritch, Arkham, the card games, any game in this vein, this is the king right now. To me, this is the king.
I don't think, one thing I guess before we finish up, I don't think that this game absolutely replaces those other games, but this game is a game that you can pop out, you can teach anyone to play and get them into those games, and then if they want to play a more in-depth one, you can move to Arkham, move to Eldritch and play those, and it'll just be different. That's why I was telling you, if they did like an Arkham Horror 2nd Edition, it's got to have an app and it's got to be just like this, and it's going to be absolutely astonishing. I hope it's in the works.
If you're doing Streets of Arkham, you don't even need to do it.
They are different. The story is different. You're fighting against an elder god, where this is a little bit different. It's more of like minor skirmishes kind of ish. So I think there's room for it. I'm just saying, I'll buy anything that says H.
Okay, let's just lay down the gauntlet now. If there's an Arkham Horror 2nd Edition running on an app, there better be a Cthulhu Mini, a 6-inch mini
it better be massive
in that box. Oh, I'm sorry. It'll be about $40 for that mini. There better be a mini for it.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say.
I'm with you. So,
or I'm slapping a Funko on the table.
A bobblehead. Good.
And that was Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition from Fantasy Flight Games. All right, and when we return, we're going to roll the dice or save some cash on some choice upcoming tabletop releases. But first, we got to take a quick commercial break.
Are you bored? Are you out of energy playing your games? Well, buy some bored energy drinks. Hey, little kid, you out of energy? Yeah. Can you roll these dice anymore?
No.
Take a sip of this. Hey, little girl, looks like you're struggling to move your miniatures around. Well, here, bitch, have some of this. Hey, old man, looks like you're struggling with that dexterity game.
Oh, yeah.
Well, your old ass better have some of this then. Bored energy drink. Get the power inside of you.
Bored energy may cause analysis paralysis, alopecia, erectile dysfunction, anal leakage, sloppy dice, sweaty palms, hairy knuckles, the dropsies, incorrect game setup, cheating, sweating, blurred vision, heart palpitations. Not available in all states.
All right, and welcome back to the Fighting Dirty Podcast. We're going to delve deep into our next segment where we help you decide whether you should roll the dice and purchase this new title or save some cash. So first up on our docket is a game where this Kickstarter recently ended. This is a game called Detective City of Angels. And I know you don't know a lot about this game, so let me just run it down for you. It's more in that noir vein, LA detective kind of story, solve the murder, hidden movement, a la Letters of Whitechapel. It is very much in that vein. You can have multiple detectives on the board. Some of you can be dirty detectives, and you're just trying to solve the crime. And there's going to be different markers on the board, and you're going to go investigate. This is a game that's caught my eye. It's caught a little traction on some different websites. It was fully funded on Kickstarter, and it will be available. It's not one of those Kickstarter exclusive, which has become such a big deal right now. This is a game you're going to be able to get. You didn't have to back this game on Kickstarter. So this is a game that's going to be coming out. You're going to be able to get this at your local gaming store. So Gary Baxter, should you roll the dice or save some cash on Detective City of Angels?
Detective City of Angels. 1 to 5 players. One person's the chisel. The other 4 trying to solve your mystery. Roll the dice, Matt. This one is a game that's built for you. You would love to be the chisel. I'll be the detectives. I'll chisel your ass. I'll find out everything you're trying to do. This game looks really cool. I like the art. It's pretty simplistic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very kind of mild Dick Tracy.
Mild Dick Tracy. I like that.
There's some really neat miniatures here. There's 4 of the miniatures that each detective will obviously be. There's 2 women, 2 guys. They got their trench coats on, the leather, their pistols in hand. Looks like detectives. Serviceable.
Mm-hmm.
I'll play it. And, you know, it's hidden movement, so there's a lot of lines on the map. You got to go around searching for things. I like this theme more so than I think Letters of Whitechapel, so I'm going to play it.
So let me tell you, like, as you were scrolling through the Kickstarter, Rahdo did a Rahdo runs through, and so I watched it. And watching that made me want to play even more for this one simple thing. When you're playing the detective and you're trying to get information out of people, you can question them and just try to get an answer out of them.
Yeah.
And then you can punch them.
You can rough them up a bit?
You can rough them up a little bit.
I like
that
this.
does not always guarantee you a correct answer. And you can go even further. So it's just like, I kind of like that.
You can get dirty.
You can get dirty.
We like getting dirty here on Fighting Dirty.
If I got to put a little pressure on a guy to get the truth, I guess I got to
turn up the heat. Yeah, sometimes you got to turn up the heat.
All right, so I guess we're going to roll the dice on Detective City of Angels.
Yeah, look at the board. It's really neat. There's a lot of just little buildings around. It's very Whitechapel-esque. There's a lot of numbers. You're going number to number trying to find out, I'm assuming, where the chisel is. So I like this.
Clickety clack, clack, clack. Roll them dice. All right, the next game on our list. This is a game that is number 1 on BGG. This is a game that is burning through everyone's minds right now. Gloomhaven is now available on Cool Stuff Inc. Pre-order $129. Gary Baxter, do you roll the dice or save some cash on Gloomhaven?
Gloomhaven, I'm sure, comes with dice. So I'm going to roll them. I'm going to roll those. I'm going to roll all the dice. I'll roll every Gloomhaven dice. This game is deserved of the hype. This is a 100-hour game campaign. There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
It's a $130-ish game. I saw my friend open up the box the other day. The rule book looks like a college textbook. There's tons of components in there. I love it. I want to play this game. I want to blow through Descent so we can get to some Gloomhaven. Roll the dice on this game.
Absolutely. This game is a firestorm. It would not be that way. It can't just be hype. There's no way it can just be hype. It's substance. I've watched the unboxing. I watched the Shut Up and Sit Down review. That thing, you open that box is like a beer box that you get like bottles in.
It's old, yeah.
It's huge and it's full of crap. And I want to play it.
Me too.
The only thing,
when your characters die off, you get new ones. They come back.
I don't mind that. Dude. I don't mind killing a couple characters off. No. Don't care about them.
Yep.
So we're rolling the dice. We're rolling the dice on Gloomhaven. So
dicey.
Here's my question to you: does everyone need a copy of Gloomhaven?
No.
One per gaming group?
Yeah, one per gaming group.
You'd be fine. Fair enough.
Which is neat because if you got 3 or 4 consistent people, pitch in $40 a piece, get a game of a lifetime.
Wouldn't that be nice? Mm-hmm. Man, would it be nice if people would throw down on a board game? All right. Next game on our list for roll the dice or save some cash. This is a game that we saw previewed at Gen Con 2017 at the In-Flight Report. And this is Star Wars Legion, the core set. It is now available pre-order at Cool Stuff. This is the Star Wars miniatures, essentially a Warhammer type game, if that helps people understand. So, Star Wars Legion core set. Gary Baxter, roll the dice or save some cash.
Matt, I think we're going to disagree here. Put your wallet away. Save your cash. I don't know who this game is for. So if you want to play miniatures games, why wouldn't you just go with the established Warhammer? Why wouldn't you go with these other miniatures games that are already established? I don't understand why are they getting into this? Why? Is it because Star Wars, they need to make as much money off this IP as possible? That's what I think. I don't need this miniatures game. If I want to play something, I'm gonna play Warhammer or something like that. I I don't know. I always feel like when you get these Star Wars sets, they try and cheap you out. You're like, you buy Imperial Assault. Oh, you gotta buy this little extra piece for Han Solo. Oh, it didn't come in the box. Okay, so I'm assuming you'll get hopefully Vader, hopefully maybe Luke, but I just get the feeling they're gonna parcel it out. You're gonna have to buy the characters that you really want to make your army. I'm not doing it. I'm just saving my cash. And that's why I said we'll disagree, because the other day you're like, I want to play Warhammer. And I was thinking, I was like, this would probably be the game for you to play. But the thing is, we live in an area where there's just not a huge, selection of miniature gamers that I don't think are going to start a giant Star Wars Legion group. Whereas you can go down the street and play in your Warhammer group, because people are already playing Warhammer at your game shop. So, sorry.
My question. Okay, and I'm all about saving cash on this one. So despite what you think,
okay,
I'm putting my wallet away and saving my cash on this. Do you think, quick question, totally off topic, did they make this in response to the reception of Rune Wars, I'm sorry? Was this them saying, well, let's try to make this minis game? Or do you think both these games were in the works and they said, we're just going to make two types of miniatures game?
I think that they're just blowing out Star Wars. So I just think they need every type of Star Wars game that they can possibly have. They need to make as much money off this license as possible, because I don't think Disney came to Fantasy Flight and be like, hey, make games for us, and they're paying them to make games. I think it's the other way around. They licensed that. They paid for that license. Mm-hmm. They paid a fat sack of cash for that license. They need to recoup some of that. So they need to have every type of Star Wars game available. I just don't see this game living large and in charge. Like, you're not going to talk, when you talk miniatures games 10 years down the road, you're not going to be like, hey, did you play Star Wars Legion today? No, it's still going to be Warhammer and things like that. So I don't see it. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm right. But I don't know. I don't know how well Rune Wars is selling. Like I said, I watched the championship when it was on, and it seemed to have some popularity. People seem to enjoy it. The game looks somewhat interesting, but I don't know, man. Can't answer.
All right, the final game we're going to talk about in our roll the dice or save some cash segment is Western Legends from Colossal Games. And by the time this podcast release, it will probably have already ended on Kickstarter. But it is a game that's going to be widely available. This is the first release from this company, but from what I've gathered, they have a slew of games waiting to release, and they are all, from the way I've heard it, of this level that Western Legends is, which it was fully funded on Kickstarter. It's gotten a lot of reviews on Man vs. Meeple, The Dice Tower. Everyone's reviewing this game. It's getting wide praise. It's a sandbox game, meaning kind of an open world-ish game set in a Western theme. So you can be cowboy. You can be the sheriff. You can be a bank robber, a thief. You can choose what your alignment's going to be. Are you going to be more of that chaotic type player? Are you going to try to be truthful and honest and, hold up the codes and values, those types of things? So, Gary Baxter, are you going to roll the dice or save some cash on Western Legends?
Oof, I am torn on this one. So, it is their first game. Their Kickstarter is great. There's so much information. It's put together really well. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff here. I love the theme, man. I love Westerns. And, man, I'm just torn, though. I can just see this being a game I get and just not playing a lot. But it might just be phenomenal. Oh, I gotta pick. Oh, you're gonna kill me.
So in this game, just maybe a little help. There's like all kinds of cool mechanics within this game. So like you'll play hands of poker within this game,
right? But
those cards that you play, those cards have other uses in the game. So you're like, is it worth it to lose this hand of poker because I might need this card? So it has some cool little things in it. They sneak in there to just really hit that theme home, but also just make the game like it seems cool and different, and it's not just rolled. It's not an Ameritrash game. Just roll dice, move guys around the board, and hack and slash and shootouts. Like there's just cool variants in it. All right, Gary, I'm putting the pressure on
man,
you. Do you roll the dice? Or do you save some cash?
Oh, man. This is going to kill me, but I'm going to say save your cash. I know, I'm sorry.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I know. Listen, I want to play this game, but it's just, there's a lot to be proven here. There's a lot of stuff here. And I'm just saying, like, if I see something like hate, that's something like I'm gonna just immediately roll. This I'm like, it's right in between, and I'm just questioning. I'm sorry, like this game looks amazing. I just want to play it first.
Sure.
I feel like it's one of those games that you need to play first, demo, and then get. It's not
Buy it when you see it.
Yeah, I have to have it.
Hey.
I'm sorry.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And I feel like that's a lot of games. And that is the reason why I love going to conventions. I want to try this game before I give you my cash. So, ain't nothing wrong with that. This is from a new gaming company. It's not a Kickstarter exclusive. This will be available in gaming stores. This company's trying to be a player in the board gaming world. So if you want to be a player, you got to have your product out there.
I hope it's good.
So it's going to be available, and we're going to get an opportunity to play it. And, I'm sure if it's that good, we'll probably review it at some point.
Yeah.
So thus ends the roll the dice or save some cash segment.
Let's check the news on the dirt sheets.
First thing on our dirt sheets this week, Dice Tower has their Kickstarter up and running. It's in full effect. They are fully funded, over $200,000. They're doing it. I'm just throwing it out there. I think people need to go on here. They need to support. There's all kinds of levels. They really, I'm talking bags, shirts, stickers, dice towers, whole dice, buttons. What do you want? We got something for you. We want your money. We want you to support the Dice Tower. And as a gamer, you should.
Oh, yeah, just throw some money at the Dice Tower. They're the pillars of board game media. They're always putting out content. They're always supporting people. They have the Tom Vassell Foundation that supports other board gamers in need. They're an excellent organization. Tom Vassell and his crew are always looking out for everyone, looking out for the industry, looking out for the hobby. They need support, and they deserve it.
And what I love about it is, like I said, it's anywhere from a few bucks all the way up to... I mean, you could spend several thousands and have dinner with Tom and just crazy stuff. Play games with Tom. Like, they did some pretty cool stuff with this one. And I really liked how they had their stretch goals set after several $100,000.
Yeah.
They got the money rolling, and now the stretch goals are kicking in. And, this is one of those things. You're not getting a whole lot of tangible stuff out of this. Unless you're like, okay, I want the stickers, or I want the buttons, or I want that Dice Tower bag, or the t-shirt, or I want the whatever else they're shilling for this. But you're buying into them. You're saying, I appreciate the effort that you put in, and they did, I had the number a minute ago, over 2,000 videos last year. 2,000 original videos. These aren't just 5-minute videos. These are hours. These guys, they give it all to the board gaming community.
And that's the thing, too. I mean, you can support them by just watching their YouTube stuff free. I mean, that helps them out with ad stuff. But you don't have to give to them, and they're fine with that. Mm-hmm. And, they say give what you can, or, do what you need to do. If you can't give, then don't give. But... they deserve the support that they get. They do a great job. There's tons of content for all these games that are coming out. They do a great job, and they're honest all the time. I've never gotten the feeling that the Dice Tower is anything but honest.
Oh, for sure. And these promo packs are insane.
Yeah.
I really like some of these promo packs.
Me too.
They got from some of the best, my favorite games, promos for them. It blows my mind what they were able to do. I kind of want to get some of them promo packs. There's just good stuff. There's stuff for Scythe. There's just stuff for games that I love, and I'm like, I kind of got to get
It's
that.
a good cause, too.
And it's a good cause. I watch Board Game Breakfast every Monday morning while I get ready for work, and it's the only thing that makes me not want to kill myself before I go to work. It's just like... At least I got this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just the dread of a Monday morning as I'm brushing my teeth, I'm watching Board Game Breakfast. I'm like, I guess it ain't that bad. And it's like, that's part of my whole morning routine on Monday mornings. And it's just something I look forward to and love. And I just want to give back to them because they've given so much to me. I can go way back into their catalog and be like, what did these guys think about chaos in the old world? You know, I didn't buy that game when it came out, but what did they think about it? And they have a video for it because they've been doing it for so long, and it's there. And as they might play a game a second or third time, and if they think opinions change, they'll put a new video out and be like, hey, after playing this a couple times, I'm like, no, I played that once and I don't ever need to play it again. I respect that about them. So they do great work. Get out there, support the Dice Tower. The next thing we got on the dirt sheets here is that Gen Con badges are now on sale. They're on sale. They're $110 for a 4-day badge. It begins the first weekend in August. I think it's August 2nd. And I'm hyped.
Yeah, me too.
I'm beyond hyped.
And you can't wait around this time because people missed out on Gen Con last year because they thought they could buy at the door. Not happening. You need to get these sooner than later, or you're not going to Gen Con because it's going to sell out again.
And they're like really, I mean, I don't know, really, they're really trying to restrict the moving of badges and stuff like that, and also the moving of hotels to people. Like, they don't want all that stuff going on. So it's like they want you to buy the badge, and that's your badge. Kind of like airline tickets, you know, They make it a lot harder to move that stuff around than it used to be.
Right.
Now, did my friend Roger happen to go as a guy named Sean last year for Gen Con?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. But that stuff's always going to happen on the black market.
Right.
It's not a big deal. However, it's just something you want to get on, start thinking about. And I feel like, I buy the badge now, I totally forget that I paid the $100 and some bucks for it.
Yeah. The earlier you get it, the better.
Okay. And with that said, though, the hotel block release is on February 11th at noon Eastern. You cannot get into the hotel registration unless you've purchased a badge for Gen Con. So if you want to get one of those choice hotels, if you kind of need it, like I kind of need it.
Yeah, we have to buy soon.
Yeah, so I'm definitely looking to get my badge here before February 11th, and I'm going to be there for housing block. I don't know what day February 11th is, but if I got to take that day off work, I'm taking it off work.
That's a good idea.
That's just it. If I got to do it, that's what I'm going to do.
Good thing.
I'm leaving early. I'm sick. I got squirts. I got diarrheas. I've had diarrhea since Easter's. So, get out there, get your Gen Con badge. Now, with that said, Origins badges are also on sale. And what I love about this is they're about half the price.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, just get that 4-day badge. Maybe we'll go more than what we...
Might as well, right?
Just like, for the price. And it's like, that's what Gen Con used to cost.
Yeah.
It used to only be $50, $60 for a 4-day badge. So... I'm like, man, this is cheap.
Yeah.
I bet the hotel's going to be cheap too. And it's not like at Gen Con, I've never been to Origins, so I don't feel like the need that I have to stay at a hotel right by the convention center.
Right.
I will literally just give me a hotel in the city of Columbus, Ohio.
Uber time.
Uber. And that's all I want. I just want to be able to go play some games on a Friday, go play some games on a Saturday, go to the Cabal meetup, and have a place to sleep. And, get out of town the next day. So
Right. And when we go to Origins this year, I'm not going to do a lot of buying. I'm going to save that for Gen Con. I'm playing games. I'm not even messing around. Yeah. So, good stuff.
Yeah, I'm not even worried about that. And I've thought a lot about how I'm going to spend my money at Gen Con. It's like, you really just go after one big release, and the rest of the time, just play some games, have some fun. Like, if you're chasing some deal... It's tough. I'm going to be in the auction. Don't get me wrong. There's going to be time spent in the auction. But just, like, endlessly patrolling the hall, like, it's just unnecessary. It really is. I've seen it. It's not always exactly the same, but there's a lot of the same there. And, walking through that hall pretty much all once is usually pretty good for the whole convention.
Agreed.
All right, so now we got a new game coming out on Kickstarter. It released on January 16th. Ooh. I have been foaming at the mouth for over 2 years for this game. It is based on the Adrian Smith graphic novels, Chronicles of Hate. This is hate.
Yes.
This is hate! From CMON Games.
Man, we are deep on that CMON Games train, man. We've gotten like every game that they've come out with, and we just got to keep on it. Their games are so good. This game looks phenomenal. I can't wait till you get this because, like I said, I just walked in. Matt just got Rising Sun. We're pulling that thing out, and I'm like, oh my god, it's a treasure chest full of games. This is gonna be crazy. And you're all in on this too, right?
Right. So far, I'm all in. I don't know where they go on this game. This game is different though. Okay, this is hate. This is a game where you're going to get to cannibalize your friends. This is a game where you can feed your tribe body parts.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, I'm talking about the most grotesque parts of the game, but that's the fun part for me.
Yeah.
It's got, you watch the trailer, it's like,
I sure did. It was fucking awesome.
it was like TV mature.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the game or the commercial. I'm not quite sure,
Yeah.
but I think the game is for adults.
Yeah.
Teenage to adults, depending on where your teenager's at. But this is a game that is graphic. This is a game that is violent.
Yeah.
And as a violent man that I am, I want to play violent games. And this is one of those games. So I've backed the core set. I've backed the 2 tribes that they've already released. And I'm going to get these other little plastic pieces that I gotta have. I gotta have the HUDs for $15.
Yeah.
So this game, I'm already in over 100.
Yeah.
It's gonna be up to 200. I think there's already an art book. I usually skip that, but I can see why people like it.
Yeah.
You don't want to get that art book, and that's kind of cool. I'm all in on hate.
Yeah, I love how the game is going to have like a built-in kind of league. You're going to have your tribes and you're going to play against each other. And when you lose a character, it's a big deal because that character's gone. They get cooked in the oven. They done at that guy. And I can't wait to just set up a little league of this, just play all the time. It's going to be great. The miniatures look phenomenal. Obviously, it's cool mini or not. Their minis are always cool. They're never not. So, man, hate is looking amazing. And I was telling you, I was like, man, I need to get in on this too. You're like, why the fuck are you gonna get? I'm buying it. There's no need. So it's just like, all right, I'll get the next cool mini or not game. So,
I mean, if you want to get it, get it. You know, I don't know at what level. That's why I asked on Gloomhaven. It's like, if our friend Kenny has it, do I really need it? No. Do I want it? Yes.
yeah, don't need it
For
though.
what purpose? I don't know.
Yeah, but it's just to collect, and at that point, it's just there's no need. I mean, you and I kind of did the thing with we both have all the Descent stuff, and we shouldn't have did that even. You know what I mean? We could have diversified our game collection anyways because we play so many games together. So there's no reason for us to cannibalize our own until we play Hate.
For sure. So, Hate, it's on Kickstarter right now. It's approaching $1 million. Now, at this, I don't know if it's fair to compare these types of games like this. So, what I'm going to say is Rising Sun, it broke $1 million in a day. This game's been out 10 days. It's not yet broke $1 million. Do I delve into that? Do I
No.
think there's any correlation there? They're both, you know, I mean, Eric Lang now, his name's getting put on a lot of games. What is his actual level of involvement with this game with his current role? I'm not sure, but I know he's been heavily involved in this game.
Yeah.
And the same with The Godfather, the same with Rising Sun. Now, with all that said, Hate is Kickstarter exclusive. How do you feel about that?
Well, from what I heard, the Secret Cabal spoke about this, and they said they did this because they want to release the game that they want to release. Mm-hmm. It takes up a lot of real estate. It's really graphic. There's a lot of adult themes in it. So getting it out on the shelves isn't always an option. So they want to stay true to the universe of Hate. Yeah. So they want to just make it basically Kickstarter only, which means they'll probably just do like if it's popular, it sells well, which it's at 733,000 right now, which is doing well. That's great. It has 6,189 backers, and if it really gets generating heat, they'll just do like a second edition. You know what I mean? They'll just do another Kickstarter, which is fine. I mean, I'm fine with that. You're just gonna have to wait. But I mean, that just does suck when you really want a game and it's just not available. It just sucks. That's kind of why like we got stuck without Mansions of Madness for so long. We were waiting for it to come back to Miniature Market, cool stuff to pick it up because I mean, $100 is a lot to drop on a game. But then again, these boys are just you've been kickstarting these games for hundreds of dollars, and it pays off because you get all these miniatures and it adds to the game. So
I love miniatures, dude. That's the big thing. I love the quality of Cool Mini or Not. Like there's just something to it. They have a weight to them. They have just a level of art to them. It's a piece of art to me. Like I love it. You know, like I would not be ashamed. Like when I look at the painted versions of these, I'm like, why can't I paint like this? If I could paint like that, I would display some of those things around my apartment or my home or wherever, my office. Like even if I played the crap out of Hate, I don't want these minis just sitting in a box. I want them out and about, living their lives, you know, like, and that's just how I feel about it. So it's like, I'm a shill for that. I just am. I buy into that so quickly.
Well, when you were talking earlier about Rising Sun hitting 1 million quick, and this is not doing as well, I think it's just theme. I think samurais it's a very, very popular theme. It's like zombies, Cthulhu, things like that. This is, I don't honestly know what Chronicles of Hate is. I've not read the comic book. I don't know what the universe
It's
is
like
called.
post-apocalyptic.
Okay.
So
and
they're just like badasses in the wasteland that just live in tribes and shit.
okay. So it's just,
They're just savages, they're just fighting. It's clan wars in that setting.
right.
They're not Vikings. I mean, they kind of look like Vikings and stuff like that, but they're just savage people, like living in this wasteland, like eating each other because that's what you got,
So it's obviously making money. It's very popular, and it's going to do well. I just love when you see a game sit out, like when you see Blood Rage or Rising Sun or this game sit out, you're like, oh, that's a cool mini or not game. Just the way the components look and the way they set the way that the tableau set out, you're like, oh, that's a cool mini or not game. And their games have just been absolutely destroying lately.
It kills me though, these games, because this I saw in 2016.
Yeah, I remember.
And it's just like sitting for so long. Like, why does it take so long for it to hit? Why do they leave you just foaming for years? And now I back it in January 2018. Estimated time of delivery, January 2019.
Yeah.
And it's like, you mean they don't even got these things boxed up?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they may still be working on the game, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they're doing... I got to say, they do their due diligence with these games. They do a lot of testing, and, a lot of their games come out, and they are balanced and fun, so I can't complain too much. I will a little bit, though, so... Anyways, what else do we got?
The next thing here in the dirt sheets is another game that's going to be coming to Kickstarter. So for those of you listening to the podcast, by the time you hear this one will be coming up February 27th. Batman Gotham City Chronicles. Another Kickstarter exclusive. This is the Batman game that plays like kind of like the Conan game that came out within the last 2 years, and was a huge hit on Kickstarter. Yeah. This is going to be big. It's going to be real big. I think it's going to be a big one.
I'm going in on this one.
I'm very interested in it, and I know I'm very interested in it. Your Uncle Mike will be backing this one.
Oh, he already said he was. When I already spoke to him, he's like, I'm going.
He's going to go whole hog on this one. I don't know how whole hog I'll go until I start seeing it.
Right.
And Batman's my favorite of the DC superheroes by far, and it's not because of Batman, because of those villains. Yeah. I love those villains, and in this game, you get to play the villains.
Yeah,
you get to be all those awesome Batman villains that we love. So, just keep your eye out. This one is the hard date on Dice Tower. The hard date on the Dice Tower news site is that it's February 27th. So I'm going to go with that and hope that that's what they stick to, because with these Kickstarters, man, it's like dates get pushed back, shipping dates get pushed back. Like, things are kind of weird with it. Like, I like it. I think it's a cool thing to do. What bothers me about it, though, is they get a lot of cash for these games. Oh, yeah. Like, and this is going to be another one. I feel like you're going to be in $200 deep pretty quick.
I feel like we're getting to the point where, man, board games are just going to be like, just released sporadically. It's, when I think of when purchasing board games, I'm like, Gen Con's coming. That's where I'm going to get all my new board games, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, we almost get to the point where we don't need that anymore, They can just be like, hey, it's February. This is the time of year where we release board games. And be like, oh, it's February's coming up. It's Kickstarter time with all the new board games, and people just plopping out games, I can see in the future they're going to have to get more and more strategic on when they release board games as not to overlap with, like, oh, you don't want to overlap with...
I think they're doing it already. This is like what Hollywood does. You don't want your movie releasing the same time as the Avengers.
Yeah, you don't want to get crushed.
It's a bad idea. Right. You got to have a bad time. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 or whatever, wait 3 weeks or go 3 weeks before it. Like, how you parcel these games out. This is important, and I think that's probably why they waited. There's probably not a lot going on in February. They're probably projecting out, so... I think it's already happening. I totally agree. As more and more comes to it,
it's gonna get crowded.
Yeah, something I saw that was really cool. I watched this. Shut Up and Sit Down did a Fantasy Flight, kind of a mini doc. It's like 45 minutes about Twilight Imperium. You saw this?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Okay, it's really cool. So Christian Peterson was they have like full access to like everybody there, all the lead designers and the head guys at Fantasy Flight, and just about the history of Twilight Imperium, what it's meant to the company, and it's condensed. I mean, it's really good. But what he talked about was they thought about kickstarting Twilight Imperium.
Oh, really?
For 4th edition?
4th edition, yeah.
They that's where they started with it.
Huh.
And the price tag, it was big. It was like
Really?
300 at the low level. Yeah. And it worked its way down. This is at the very, like,
Okay.
We're thinking of doing Twilight 4.
Okay, yeah.
And we're thinking of doing it Kickstarter. Because Fantasy Flight doesn't do Kickstarter.
Right.
And they've, essentially what they said in that was, we're not going to do that. I think people expect a certain something from Fantasy Flight.
And that's why, I was just honestly going to mention that. Does Cool Minier not need to keep doing Kickstarters?
I don't think they do, but what I like about Hate is if it's Kickstarter only, then you only make what you need, and you won't have a single box of Hate laying around that doesn't have a home.
What I'm saying, though, is they're big enough, they could just be like, hey, we're going to release Hate, make their own pledge program
On their website.
They don't even have to go through Kickstarter anymore.
just pre-order.
But maybe Kickstarter is a huge platform for them. Maybe they get more views, but it's just like they're getting big enough where it's just like, I don't think they need Kickstarter anymore. I think they could just pop these games out and people are going to buy them. I don't know, though. I guess that's a whole different can of worms, I guess.
All right, next item here on the dirt sheets is Fantasy. We prefaced this earlier. Fantasy Flight Games is starting their own online gaming, and the first game they're going to release is Lord of the Rings: The Living Card Game.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting. I'm actually going to go into this. I read a little bit about the game. They said that they are going to change it a little bit to kind of make the game a little... expedite the game. They're going to change it enough where it's going to be not totally a different game, but it's not going to be exactly the same game as before. It's going to be expedited. And if you played any of the Fantasy Flight apps and the games on their apps, you know that it runs really well. They're going to do it right. And this is going to be, I believe, if the price is right, I'm going to go all in. I'll get all the expansions, but if they're going to charge like they are charging for like a pack of cards, like, if you know, the new card expansion, $15, it's like, no, dude, that's digital. It's not a real resource. That should be $5. I'll pay $5 for that pack of cards. You know, like they do with the dynasty packs for L5R. I'll pay $5. I'm not paying full price $15 for this shit. I'm just not doing it. That's too much. So the pricing needs to be right. I think this is a great idea, but it's just I'm worried about the pricing. I mean, Fantasy Flight's not about to give you $1.
And I was curious. I've not looked too much into this, so it was like I could just log in and I can just play this game.
Yeah, you'll download it like on Steam, and then like obviously they'll offer DLC expansions and stuff with more cards and stuff. So it's going to be a game that you can probably get on multiple apps. I don't know if it's going to be on like Xbox or PlayStation or anything, but it's already on Steam. I got it on my wish list, so I'm going to keep an eye on it, and I'll let you know once I find more about pricing and things. But this game plays essentially like Arkham Horror. It has locations you'll move to with your heroes. You'll fight monsters, try and get items from your deck, and you'll build your own pre-constructed deck, things like that. So that was one of the things, too. I believe they shortened the deck, so the deck's not as big as you normally would. So it is a little bit of a different game. It's not exactly the same. So
Okay, well, I'm definitely interested in playing it. I'm super curious where they're going with this.
yeah, me too.
I'm hoping they're going to be doing some tabletop games here. Like, that's what I want to play. I want access to some of their tabletop games. I would love to be able to log in and play some Cosmic Encounters online with my friends.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that be fun? They have so many good games. Which game do you go with? You know, like, I know they love Twilight Struggle. Does that game... Twilight Imperium, sorry. I know they love Twilight Imperium. Does that game...
Right, and it's like, what are you gonna do? That's a game that you charge $120 something or $150 for, whatever it was. I mean, do you sell that for $60? That's a full game. You can get Gears for that game, Gears of War. You can get a full AAA video game. Am I paying $60 for a board game? It's like, that's a tough pricing.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
So
It's real tough. So we'll definitely be keeping our eyes on that. Another Fantasy Flight topic is hitting, and that is the Legend of the Five Rings Dynasty packs have come. The first wave of them have come to a conclusion. So
Yes.
there was 6 different Dynasty packs to boost up your core set with, and they have come to a close. And with that said, we talked about it earlier. We've decided to come up with our own league of
Yep.
friends where we're going to be playing on a weekly basis using Jigoku Online,
Yep.
which it's a very reliable website. At any time, there are 40 or more games going on.
Yeah.
I have never had a problem getting a game. I've never had a problem hosting a game. All that stuff. So I'm looking forward to doing this, and they have reported that they're not going to be putting out any new Dynasty packs till at least March, and they've already released the name of that, and you can see what some of the cards are already.
Right.
And so on the Legends of the Five Rings database, you can go through all those cards and be like, oh, well, this is looking pretty good. Because I was like, oh, this card's killer. I'm about to put that in my deck. Unavailable.
Yeah.
I was like, what? What do you mean? Oh, it's not out yet. Not
Right.
until, I believe, March. So right now, I feel like finally you can just engross yourself in this game. You can learn every card. You have every card.
there's so much good information that you can learn to play this game. I mean, you can get on Jigoku as long as you know how to play. You'll have games. There's the L5R. What's it called? DB.
Yeah, the database.
The database. You can get on there. You just people will build decks all this time, and it's amazing. You can get on there. You can import a deck to Jigoku, and you're instantly playing that deck. So like the other day, Matt and I, we had about 40 minutes, and he's like, I don't know if we'll be able to get through a full game. I was like, okay, well, I just want to try a unicorn deck. So I just downloaded one, put that horse deck on there, and just started running through him. Just running through them. Just them steeds.
Oh, and the horsemen were drawing nearer.
They were. Another steeds they ride. Yeah, I was running that deck, running through you.
I can always get run through though.
Lopping. But it's amazing. Like I don't know the legality of how Jigoku works. I don't think it's associated with.
We know
Fantasy
nothing
Flight.
about this Jigoku.
Well, that's the thing. Like Fantasy Flight has to know about it because you go anywhere. You go on Facebook. They're talking about it in the L5R group, and I'm positive the designers who play or who designed L5R are in those Facebook groups. They're on Reddit and looking at it, and it's just they're always talking about it. So it's not like they don't not know about this. The only thing I can think is like, so L5R is probably, it's definitely not up to the standards of like say Magic the Gathering. Jigoku the only thing Jigoku does is further the game of L5R. It definitely supports the game because you and I, Kenny, all bought all the packs. We have all the cards. We have 3 cores. We went whole hog. We have everything.
Without
we need.
ever playing a game.
Right. I mean, I
went
played 2
whole
physical
ham.
games, but I've played more online. I still own all the cards, but this is how I can get my reps in without having to like have you come an hour away just to play. We can get our reps in, and it doesn't hurt the game, I don't feel. Now, Magic the Gathering, I might be a different story. I think that would hurt the game. Like, I don't think the people that play L5R are people that just don't buy anything and just play the game on Jigoku. I feel like they buy those cards and then they'll play on there. Mm-hmm. The Magic players, though, like right now, man, if I could get on a site that would be free and play Magic, I would get on there and build decks and not buy a damn thing. I mean, Magic's a great game. I love it. I just can't afford it. But I would build some decks. If there's a way I could play some free games, I'd do it. So.
Absolutely. So I'm excited. Like we talked about it earlier, we plan on playing in some tournaments coming up. I just got to get my cuts in and learn this game better. Like, I make stupid little... It's always like... And sometimes it's like, well, if I was playing in real life, I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, that mistake... It wouldn't be a mistake, because sometimes you're like, ooh, I didn't mean to click that. You know what I mean? And there's just a little bit of that. And I know you can go in there into, like, the manual mode and... undo things. Like, you can do all that stuff. I just feel like it's good. It's good to make these mistakes. It's good for me to take these beatings. I take these beatings. It doesn't matter who I'm playing. I'm getting beat. I've won very few games on here. Like, just a handful of games that I've won. And I've played probably 20 games or more. And it's not above me. I'm like, you're railroading me. I'm out. Like,
concede.
Gotta get my cuts in.
Yeah.
Actually, you were like watching me play one time, and I was like, I got diarrhea. I gotta go. And I just left the game. It was like, you're the winner. Concede. I'm out. So I love that about it. And it just helps me get these cuts and be like, all right, I need to I need to take this card out. I got too many of this. I didn't have, oh man, I had all these good cards, but I didn't have enough to pay for it. Like, it helps you with the balance, learning the game, just getting through the cuts. I got to get these cuts in.
Yeah. I found that...
The minutia.
I found that you seem to actually really enjoy the deck building more than I think playing right now. Like, you like building decks a lot. You love trying...
it's so fun.
Yeah,
like,
you love building decks. And, lately I've just been importing decks and just popping them in there. I'm just like, that's what I'm going to do. I haven't just been building decks, but I like that you actually are building the decks. I think that helps you with your play, and you know the cards well enough.
Sure. And, I'm going on and looking and seeing what other guys are doing, what I mean? And I'm like, but I really want this card. And so I have to make that, like, I really want this card.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you probably... Because people, what's really cool about on the database is they'll be like, I finished third out of 300 people, or I finished third in a tournament of 25 people, so that's how good this deck is. And it's like, okay, and then it's like, but I really want this card in mind. So you probably made that choice. I'm making my choice, and one card can really change how your deck's flowing and what the mechanics are in it. And I just got to get through some of that, but getting this league going will help us get these cuts in, and then we'll be ready to go for Gen Con.
Yeah,
and I'm looking forward to it. And I watched that video that you talked about, the greatest story ever told.
Wasn't that great?
It was really cool.
Man.
It was a really cool video from a guy talking about the old ways that the old card game of Legends of the Five Rings.
How long was that video? I don't remember.
It was pretty long.
It was pretty long. So
like 30 or 45 minutes.
Yeah, so when I started watching, I was like, I'm not sitting through this. And then I started listening to that guy telling the story, and I was like, 40 minutes later, I was like, oh, wow, that was good.
That's pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Good job. Good job there, guy. We like you. All right, our final tidbit in the dirt sheets. And maybe it's just because I'm a local yokel and I'm close to the scene, but I don't feel like this has gotten a whole lot of traction anywhere other than right here. And that is Indianapolis is planning a massive hotel renovation expansion from the convention center. So what had happened was they made a decision. They said expand the ICC, the Indiana Convention Center, or build a mega hotel, and they've decided to go with, hey, we do not have enough rooms, so they are building an 800-bedroom hotel. I don't know what brand it will be. I don't know if that's going to be Trump, Hilton, Obama, Oprah. I don't know who's going to be running this hotel, but
The Rock.
The juices are flowing. To add that many more rooms for Gen Con, I love it. They know what they're doing. Because the convention center is massive. It is beyond ridiculous, its size. It takes you so long to walk from one side to the other, from hotel to hotel. But what you need is you got people bunked up 8 deep.
Yeah.
And you need this. They need this. It's amazing. It will only open up doors not only for, Gen Con and hopefully retaining Gen Con past their deal that they have in place right now. But I'm thinking, let's get the Super Bowl back here. Yeah. Let's get WrestleMania. Can we get some more big events here in Indianapolis? Because that area of Indianapolis is completely catering to large amounts of people. That's what it's set up for. It's restaurants, it's hotels, it's the convention center, it's football stadiums, basketball stadiums. They can handle it. And so this is just, I love it. Indianapolis, they're really doing it. They've always been super supportive. I feel they've always been super supportive of Gen Con. When I'm out and about, the bars, the restaurants, the people, they all support it. So it's amazing to me.
Yeah, this is a big deal. Like, this is just going to add more space to Gen Con. This is going to it's going to ease up some of the living spaces that we need. And, it's 800 rooms, which doesn't seem like a lot. But like you said, people are sleeping like 5, 6 deep in these rooms. That's a lot of space that it's freeing up, and it's just moving more people towards the convention center. This is a huge deal. So I think this is the smarter idea as opposed to expanding the convention center. They need more hotel space, and that was the big issue. I think Gen Con can stay here forever. I don't think it's ever going to outgrow the convention center. I think it's big enough. I don't see other convention centers that are more suited. The problem with Indianapolis is that it's the hotel space, and they're remedying that now. So I'm happy because I think this looks towards the long-term health of Gen Con staying in Indianapolis. And like you said, having those other events here is a great thing. I want more Super Bowls. I want more WrestleManias. Absolutely. I want another one. When was the last one? 8? WrestleMania 8? Yeah, we need WrestleMania 35 to be here. Let's have
I think it's booked up it's booked way several years. It's booked out, but maybe in the future.
Is WrestleMania bigger than the Super Bowl? No, right?
No.
So it's just like if it's good enough for the Super Bowl.
If it's good enough for the Super Bowl, it better be good enough for WrestleMania. I mean, it's good enough for Gen Con. That's what's important. But what I love from reading through Reddit, and I'm on the Gen Con Facebook page. I'm all over that thing, so if anybody's ever on there, I'm on there all the time talking about Gen Con because I love it that much. It means that much to me. Like, it is something I look forward to, I mean, more than Christmas. Like, I really do enjoy Gen Con more than Christmas. I like the time I get off work, but I don't. Anyways, so that's the level of enjoyment that I have with Gen Con. And with all that said, I think it's really important for people to understand the scope of Gen Con. And I don't think they always understand that on the page or on Reddit because they may not have gone. And so they start talking about like, oh, well, Gen Con really needs to move to San Diego, or Gen Con really needs to move to wherever. And I don't think you realize how awesome this setup is. And while the only negative publicity it really gets is this hotel stuff. Yeah. And so like prominent people in the industry kind of killed Gen Con by saying, oh, well, the hotel's a nightmare, you know, and it has been, but there's always a place to stay. Yeah. You might just not be directly connected to the convention center. Right. You might have to walk 10 minutes, or you might have to take an Uber, or you might have to stay at Airbnb. I've been off-site half as many times as I've been on-site. I've had equal amounts of fun. Yeah. They're just different. You just have different things, you know. Instead of paying $20 a day to park at the Lucas Oil Stadium, you're going to pay about $40 a day to park at the hotel. So, like, exactly. What's the, you know, like, I get it. I hope this will chill some people out because these other conventions aren't holding a candle to it in size, in magnitude, or importance. And so, like, yeah, Origins is great for playing some games, but the Gen Con's an industry event. Yeah. Like, okay, it's a gaming convention. You go there to play games, and some of the industry people are there. Everybody's at Gen Con.
Anyone who's anyone's going to be at Gen Con. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I'm glad they're growing it. That is my dirtiest of dirt sheet tips for you guys. And I hope that you'll enjoy this and you'll get on there and you'll get your hotel ready for Gen Con and you'll come join us. Just the tip. So, thus ends episode 10 of the Fighting Dirty podcast. It's been a milestone event for us. Please follow us on Facebook. We have a page. It's the Fighting Dirty podcast page. Follow us at Twitter. Send us a message. We'll engage with you. And that is at fighting_dirty. You can send us an email at fightingdirtypodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, Gary Baxter, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, my friend.
See you.